Hi, I'm Marty Levinson. Welcome to the Northtown News Magazine.
Hi, I'm Marty Levinson, and welcome to the Northtown News Magazine.
Hi, I'm Marty Levinson. Welcome to the Northtown News Magazine.
For the identity of the real Marty Levinson, please stay tuned for the Northtown News Magazine.
Come on, baby, don't you wanna go? Come on, baby, don't you wanna go? Back to that lemon light city, sweet home Chicago. 224 446. Come on, baby, now get your business fixed. Come on, honey, don't you wanna go back to the lemon light?
Hi, I'm Marty Levinson. Welcome to the Northtown News Magazine show with the greatest cameraman around, Sonny Hirsch, and your host, Avi Myers.
Thank you, Marty. Avi Myers, Northtown Neighborhood News Magazine, a presentation of Sonny Hirsch and myself. Set us up on the web, www.ntnm.org, where over 1/3 of people have watched the show. And if you hit the button long enough, maybe we'll get up to 1 million someday. Thank you. We do appreciate Community Policing Caps24.org. We give credit to the men and women of the 24th District and the Chicago Police Department for keeping community policing going. And anyhow, we like to venture into various different things. Facebook is a lot of you know, is one of my favorite venues. And friending me on Facebook is absolutely great, unless you're one of these scam artists or one of these guys sitting down in the basement who's got a, who weighs like 400 pounds, who has a picture of himself in a bikini on the website. But you get all kinds of strange people on Facebook. But it's also a really great place to meet people who are actively engaged in the community, people who are actively engaged in politics, and people running for office. And of course, politics is one of the strengths here. And I want to thank Alvin Butte. But I don't know if my father and Alvin used to do business together on the South Side.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that's how, when I saw the name Alvin Butte, I went, I wonder if that's related to, because anyway, I'd like to introduce you to the executive director, Nancy, of the Democratic Party of Cook County. And hi, Joe Berrios, I want you on the show soon. Jacob Kaplan.
Thanks for having me, Avi. Happy
First
to be
of all,
here.
thank you and congratulations on your new appointment. I think that's absolutely terrific.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So what are your responsibilities?
Well, my responsibility is to work for the 80 elected Democratic committeemen of Cook County. So every ward and every township in Cook County elects a Democratic committeeman that represent the party. And my job is to work with them and try to grow the party and get more Democrats to turn out and vote, get more Democrats registered, and just generally promote Democratic candidates in Cook County.
Well, I didn't know there were any other kind.
Well, we can't take anything for granted in Cook County, so no, we're always working to try to increase things. I mean, of course, we slate candidates for office as well every election cycle. So we just had a primary election, and now we're looking towards the November election, where we'll be focusing on a big turnout for presumably Hillary Clinton on the presidential level, and Tammy Duckworth for U.S. Senate, and Susana Mendoza for state comptroller, and we'll just try to turn out as many Democratic votes as we can in Cook County.
Yeah, one thing I don't understand at all is how anybody in their right mind, and maybe that's the trouble, they're not in their right mind, could vote for this is no endorsement of Hillary Clinton, by the way, but how can you vote for Donald Trump? I just don't get that.
I know. I mean, I'm still asking it myself. I can't believe that he got this far. I mean, I think a lot of people are shocked. But I mean, obviously speaking to a certain segment of the population that really feels left out.
I mean, are the Democrats secretly all voting Republican and making this happen?
I'm not so sure about that. I mean, I really do think there is a segment of the population that feels like, Republicans for the longest time would talk a good game on standing up for working class values, and they really didn't, go through on those.
I know there is. There's no question about it. As John Kiss likes to point, he likes to talk about the so-called combine, but there's as many Republicans in the combine as Democrats.
There really are. Mm-hmm. So, I think Trump, obviously, he's, has great showmanship. He's a great speaker. He's, gets up there without a teleprompter and says what he thinks. And I think people, to some degree, respect that because we're so scripted now. Everyone is always, trying to be so politically correct. So I think the fact that he's up there saying what he thinks appeals to a lot of people.
I guess. I mean, he reminds me more of like a wrestler than a politician, to be honest.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like, I mean, I understand people find him entertaining, but he's an entertainer. Does that mean you're qualified to be president? I don't think so. But
he makes me want to throw things at the TV, but the only thing is it's my TV and I have to replace it.
yeah, same here. Same here, all the time. But we're in for a long election cycle, that's for sure. I think it's just going to be a lot of twists and turns, and we'll see what happens.
No question about it. Well, I don't like to. Well, right now, Bernie Sanders, and he doesn't have a chance to win in general, but he's still winning primaries.
He is, and I have a feeling he's going to do really well. He obviously just won West Virginia. He's going to win a lot of the upcoming primaries, and he's also speaking to a segment of the population that feels like the politicians just aren't listening to them. So. I mean, I think it's great. I think that Bernie is great for the party. I think it's good that we had a primary on the Democratic side because if Hillary was just anointed as the Democratic candidate, I don't think she'd be as well prepared for the general.
I agree with that wholeheartedly.
And I think that the Bernie Sanders supporters are going to have a strong voice at the convention to get their platform out there. And I think the Bernie Sanders type candidate is probably the future of the Democratic Party. I really do. I
think you're right about that. I think that, well, I see both parties, going off into extremes. The Republican Party... well, they're a little more fragmented. We'll have to see what they wind up doing. But this whole Tea Party thing, I mean, these people were absolutely inflexible.
Yes. Yes.
When it came to, I mean, to tell you the truth, I've always been of the opinion that there should be 8 years a Democrat and 8 years a Republican. And that's usually the way it works out, with rare exceptions. It's only when the Democrats made the mistake of running somebody like Dukakis that that cycle got broken up a little bit. And in some ways, I think it's best. I know you're executive director of the Democratic Party and don't feel this way, but so I don't speak for you either. But I just think it's best for the country when things go along those lines. But there are so many Republicans that just don't understand that a Trump can't win and a Cruz can't win.
I know, and I agree. And I do agree that, I think that it's important for both parties to have, you've got to be able to work with the other party. So I'm obviously a hardcore Democrat and I'm promoting, Democratic candidates, but I don't like the fact that the Republican Party has become so extreme that you have a Donald Trump and you have all these people in Congress that don't want to compromise on anything because ultimately the gridlock isn't good for the country. It's not good for the state. I mean, but we're seeing more and more of that. So I think it's better that we need people that can work together. I think that's important for the future of everything.
You need that conversation. Well, I'm a lot older than you, but I was actually I ran as a delegate in the Democratic Convention in '72.
Okay.
For Gene McCarthy. And I also spent time as a reporter going to various anti-war rallies. Well, actually, I tried not to write about it too much, but I wasn't going to pass up an invitation. And I got a chance to talk to a whole lot of different senators that year, both Democrat and Republican, because there were a lot of Republicans, too, that were anti-war. And I got to pick it up at the Democratic Convention also, which was kind of cool. I ran the youth center for Gene McCarthy that year there.
Mm-hmm. That was an interesting year. You had the daily delegates weren't sat.
Well, no, that was 72, not 68.
Okay,
I'm not
gotcha.
that old.
72. Okay, I gotcha.
No, McCarthy was not popular. That was the McGovern year.
That's right.
So, but even people that were idealistic, like Wayne Morris, who I got to know very well of Oregon, there was always a dialogue. There wasn't this mean-spiritedness that you have now. It's I think in too many ways you've got special interests on both sides, not to mention talk radio, which nobody should ever listen to talk radio, splitting things further and further apart. And it's just not healthy for the country. I think unity is a good thing.
I agree. And then part of it is obviously the media and the fact that we don't all watch the same news station at night anymore like we did back in the days before cable and before...
I actually refuse to watch news on TV.
I try to avoid it as well, honestly.
Well, actually, there is one exception. I do like watching Tracy Butler. I think she's cute.
Okay. Fair enough.
Oh, and by the way, the 8th most viewed show I've ever had.
Okay, there you go.
Come on back, Tracy. We want you. So in any event, do you? I mean, is there like a county? Is there like a countywide budget that gets divvied up among the different ward committeemen? You know, do you look to help along certain areas?
Well, actually, like Alderman Moore talked about, actually, it does cost money to be a committeeman. So actually, one of the ways the party operates is we do ask all the committeemen to contribute to the party and to help us out, because what we do at the party level is we do countywide mailings. We do other efforts to try to turn out the vote countywide. So,
oh, you know what? I'm glad you said that, because that's something people don't understand. And, you know, it's not unfair either. Those things do cost a serious amount of money.
And it's a big county.
Yeah.
A lot of households.
So, for instance, if Joe, you know, when I didn't ask him specifically, but it's got to work this way. It works this way with everybody. When the ward committeeman sends out a thing, he's not going to put your name down there with any highlight or prominence unless you have to kick in to pay for part of the mailing.
Yes, I mean, that's
which is only fair. And people also know, and people who run for judge know, that they have to pay part of the burden for what the party's going to do for them. And it's not like, you know, it's not like they're not getting something for the service. Those mailings are invaluable.
Yes, yes.
You know, you take a look at the way candidates spend their money. Well, first of all, they should spend it all in Jewish Chicago, okay? But other than that, you see more and more money each election cycle going into mailings.
Yeah, because it's one of the ways, it's still, everyone talks about we're in an electronic world, and that is true to a degree. I mean, Facebook and all these services online are important, but still the way that you get to the most amount of voters is either mailing or television. And, you know, TV is too expensive for most candidates, especially in the Chicago area. So mailings are what you can do to target voters.
No, and it works too. And the fact of the matter is, if somebody gets 4 pieces, I see the way ordinary, intelligent people react to this. If somebody gets 4 pieces from one candidate and 1 piece from another candidate, and all it takes is one really good tagline.
Yeah. I mean, that's, and it's part of it is just getting your name out there, especially if it's a race, a down ballot race where nobody knows either candidate. You try to get your name out there as much as possible. So the more mailings you do, the more people see your name, and that tends to increase the likelihood they'll vote for you.
Yeah, but even in a ward, I mean, at best, you can do a mailing here for $8,000 if you're really lucky and do things on the cheap.
Yeah. It's
and
expensive.
that's just in a ward, that multiply that by 50.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So, I mean, that's...
What does a countywide mailing cost? I'm curious.
Oh, it's upwards of $200,000 per mailing.
So, yeah, it's a serious amount of money.
Yeah, it is. It's expensive. Printing, mailing, designing, it's all very expensive. So, so that is what we do at the party, and obviously, you know, we need funds to operate. We don't get any help from the state or the federal DNC, so we have to raise our own funds.
Oh, they don't. Oh, interesting.
Yep, we're kind of autonomous in that way. So.
Well, you guys are, yeah, but you're also, well, one thing I'll say, too, for being autonomous, you're also one of the most powerful county organizations democratically in the entire country.
Well, thank you. And again, it's something we can't take for granted, though. That's why I'm always, you know, people say the Republicans are extinct in Cook County, but still Bruce Rauner obviously won the election. Part of the reason is not enough Democrats turned out in Cook County to push Pat Quinn over the top.
You know, and I remember when people were saying that the Democrats are looking like they're going extinct.
Yeah.
It works on both ends of the spectrum. And even to the point where I still remember the very first time I ever, voted for mayor in the city of Chicago, when they had the old voting, the levers where you pushed on the machine.
Sure, straight ticket.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Mayor Daley wasn't going to take anything for granted. One said Democrat Richard J. Daley, mayor, and the other one said Republican, danger, 50,000 votes.
Yes, there you go.
You can never take anything for granted in politics.
You can't. So, I mean, that's one of the things we're focusing on. We're going to do a big voter registration drive for the November election. And, one of the things we try to do as a party is just try to be a more open and inclusive party. So under the tenure of Chairman Barrios, we've become much more inclusive. We've slated a lot more minorities and women and tried to appeal to broad segments of the population. Because when you have a balanced ticket, everybody has somebody that they like on there. You tend to get more people turning out for the entire Democratic ticket. So that's what we're trying to do.
Let me give you guys praise along one point for sure. Because I pay probably as much attention to the judicial side as anybody else.
Yes.
Over the years I've been covering this, I have definitely noticed under present leadership, the number of quality judicial candidates has risen. The
Yes.
slated candidates. Because, it's not just like, okay, this guy is so-and-so's uncle,
Yes.
and he runs the 54th Ward,
Yes.
which I said on purpose, by the way. And, he's got to go on the ticket. Even if that would be the case, the guy better be qualified for the job. 19 times out of 20, that's going to happen. You're very rarely going to see somebody slip through. I've had so many different judges and lawyers tell me that the quality of the candidates being endorsed by the Cook County Democratic Party has really improved greatly over the last several years.
Yes, and one of the things we do is we have a multi-step process. We interview all of the candidates. We accept their resumes, and we don't even consider candidates unless you're rated qualified by the major bar associations. So we try to be, we're not just going to slate candidates that are completely unqualified like may have happened in the past. We really try to take that into account.
No, and it shows. It definitely shows. There were very few. As a matter of fact, I was surprised myself because after I do my endorsements, and it's not me personally picking, I have guys that are independent and organization involved and all the rest of it. I've got, judges involved in things. I look at the bar ratings, and I very rarely try to get myself involved. And the number of slated candidates that my independent panel, and they're very independent, trust me, select that are slated by you guys increases every year because increasingly you're getting the better people.
Yeah, I mean we can all agree on it. And I think then when that happens, we know we've got a great candidate. We work hard to make sure they win.
So how big a staff do you have?
It's basically me and an assistant. So everybody thinks that it's like the old machine days when you're expecting to walk in and see a huge staff, phones ringing off the hook. But it's a small operation on a day-to-day basis. Obviously, I interact with all 80 committeemen. So on one level, we do have a big operation. But in terms of our office, it's not all that big.
Do you smoke cigars?
I don't. Well, I
No
shouldn't say
pinky
that.
ring either.
Occasionally I do. I enjoy a cigar once in a while. I'm not a big cigar smoker.
Yeah. Okay, just got to have something from. And by the way, people think that the pinky ring, the diamond pinky ring in the cigar is a joke. I mean, that used to be pretty common.
At one time it was. You had a lot of characters in Chicago politics, that's for sure.
No question about it. So, do you look to get people to volunteer also?
We do. So everybody who's out there, if you can check out our website at cookcountydems.com, that's DEMS. You can go on, you can fill out a contact us form to volunteer, and we can try to hook you into either a campaign or a local committeeman, or you can help us out in the office. So we do encourage anybody who's interested in getting involved in Democratic politics here in Cook County to go to cookcountydems.com.
And where's your headquarters?
We're actually right downtown, right across from the City Hall and the Metropolitan Building.
Oh, nice.
So, the old Bismarck Hotel,
I remember the Bismarck Hotel. That was
Yeah.
always a Democratic stronghold, by the way.
Yes, in the Daily years, that's where the office was for many years. So
Yeah.
we like that tradition, being right across the street.
And no, there were always major Democratic events there. When I used to cover stuff on Election Day,
Yep.
there'd always be major events over there.
It's an institution.
Definitely, excuse me. Sorry about this, Mans. So in any event, whatchamacallit, so any words to sum up what's coming up in November election-wise?
Well, again, we're going to work hard to turn out our entire Democratic ticket, especially Tammy Duckworth for U.S. Senate and Susana Mendoza for State Comptroller. And then we'll look on to 2018, when we're going to try to hopefully have a candidate that'll beat Bruce Rauner in the general election of 2018. That's going to be our main focus. So.
Yeah, I would think that would definitely be your main focus, beyond question.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. So at any event, I want to thank you very much for coming here.
Thanks for having me.
And I'm sorry, Jake, I blanked on your last name.
Kaplan.
Sorry about that. Simple Jewish
all
name
good.
like that. Shame on me. So Jacob Kaplan, thank you so much for being here. And I want to thank my entire tech crew, Sonny Hirsch. And I hope you'll come back and join us.
Absolutely.
And yeah, by the way, beer. You can tell Mr. Berrios or Assessor Berrios that he's actually there's about 18 or 20 people that have had 1,000 watches on the show.
Sure.
He's one of them.
Okay.
So the first time he was on, he got like that many watches, which is pretty cool.
Nice. Excellent. We'll have him back soon.
So no, that would be great. So thank you very much. Have a good one, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you.